Hello, mortals. Zach here with an exciting announcement. Because of you, our show has been growing. We can make all the content or promotions we want, but it's because of your ongoing support, ratings, reviews, recommendations, posts, comments, Patreon memberships, and just overall engagement that Mortals and Portals has been able to stand out amongst a sea of actual play podcasts. To say thank you for your overwhelming support, we'll be hosting a public live stream on our YouTube channel Saturday, December 9th from 2 to 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If you're like me and struggle to figure out time zones, that's a start time of 11 a.m. in Los Angeles, California, 2 p.m. in New York City, New York, 7 p.m. in London, England, 8 p.m. in Berlin, Germany, Sunday at 6 a.m. in Sydney, Australia, and Sunday at 8 a.m. in Wellington, New Zealand. We know we have listeners all over the globe, so we did our best to pick a time that is doable for everyone. But the live stream will be recorded if you can't make it, so don't worry. During the live stream, we'll be hanging out, answering questions, playing games, and even doing a couple giveaways for those that attend, including a chance to have Adam draw your character. Should be a good time. We'll be including this announcement in all episodes leading up to the live stream, as well as posting about it on our social medias. But make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel so you don't miss out. We can't wait to see you all there and show our appreciation. All right, that's enough announcements. Episode starting now. Hello, and welcome back to Mortals and Portals, a Pathfinder real play podcast. I'm your host and GM, Zach, and joining me at the table is...
Adam, and I play Jules, an Azarketi bard.
I'm Joel, and I play Dex, a kobold rogue.
I'm Ryan, and I am Mecha Ryu, blown to bits and reconstructed, built.
Whoa, are you creating this character right now? I'm cool with that. Yeah, let's do it.
Built for efficient murdering.
Almost as sneaky as making your goose character Honk.
Ryu point two.
I like Tonk. I'm Taryn, and I hope I play Waltz, a human champion.
Yeah,
we find out.
Yeah, that's that Waltz optimism shining through right there for sure. Yeah, hey, we're all here today. Wow, look at that. Got our schedule figured out. We're all going to play Pathfinder together. Maybe. We'll see. Yeah. So last time on Mortals and Portals, Dax and Waltz made a daring escape of Scalekeep. Some loyal Drake Knights to Waltz, led by Glorm and Whisk, fought off the other Drake Knights. I could tell that you guys are doing some general no-goodery. How about that for a throwback?
Oh, yeah.
Salute the general.
Yeah, so you made your daring escape. You got on some horses from the stable. Dax swiped some potions. You dodged a whole bunch of attacks. You made your way down the tunnel to Forgoth's lair. You formulated some kind of secret plan that you wouldn't tell me about because you guys are just sneaky little whatever. Yeah, so you rode down the tunnel, and then Scyndor showed up, you heard off in the distance, and then he reached out to you with a very serious threat using some sort of whisper spell that he knows all of Waltz's family, basically, and said that if Waltz didn't turn around and bring the Arcanor back, he was going to kill him and his family, and if he did bring the Arcanor back, he would return his mother to this plane, whatever that means. And Waltz was not deterred, already felt like he couldn't trust Scyndor, and already knew a bunch of people were going to die if he failed anyway, so it didn't really change his mind. If anything, it made him more determined. And the two rode into Forgoth's lair, and then went their separate ways. Dax went to the roof of the lair, over by the hole that overlooks the lair, the one that Waltz and Geldir pushed boulders off of that were super effective against Forgoth, if you guys don't remember. Definitely not a trick or a trap or anything like that.
Nope.
And Waltz just sat there and picked up a tower shield that he saw in the pile of Forgoth's trinkets and, just started thinking about what he had to do. And Scyndor's Drake showed up coming down the tunnel. And also Scyndor showed up from the mouth of the cave because he can just walk through trees, I decided. And Dax just kind of observed that. Yeah, I just paused the game. How can I screw them? And I just looked up spells. Perfect. So Dax saw that and just kind of held put because part of his plan was to do something later and not reveal himself. Scyndor walked into the cave, and Waltz is in between Scyndor and the Drake. They had a little bit of a conversation, and Scyndor was like, all right, well, I'm going to take the Arcanor from you because Waltz wasn't going to give it to him. Started walking in, made some attacks on him, and then Dax said a super cool line. Digsby's crew never left. Threw the Arcanor into the lair. It exploded. Boom! A brilliant explosion. As Ryan likes to point out, I always say it erupted upwards. And
It gives perfect moments for queuing up the music.
yeah,
too.
yeah, it's all about
Yeah.
timing
And
things, you know what I mean?
We got to get a breakdown in after that, like a
Yeah.
heavy metal. Just
Taryn was like, where do I put the explosion sound effect in? And then he just decided every single time you say anything blows up, boom. Perfect, man. It's a big complex explosion. It's a ley line. Yeah, it blows up. And, Dax ran away, slid down the crumbling lair, and, Waltz was inside. And that's where we ended our session. So that's where we'll start our session.
Phew.
Obviously, our that session hasn't released yet, but I'm super excited for their viewers to get that one.
Yep.
I was really
By
excited.
the time this is out, they will have heard it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, it's
Crazy
yeah.
how time works.
This
time is just
we're
insane.
from the future.
We're in the future
Past,
right now.
we're in the future. When you
We're
hear
in the
this, we'll be
future,
in the
yeah.
past.
If you're listening to this right now, this is not now. It is
Correct.
before. All right. Sorry.
It is later.
So confused. It's before now in the future. Okay. So Dax, you just slid down the roof of the lair as it crumbled behind you. A massive, complex explosion. Brilliant lights are escaping all over, and you slide and turn around, grateful to be alive. Look back and see the chaos, knowing that Waltz is within the lair, knowing your plan succeeded, but deeply questioning how Waltz could survive such a catastrophic explosion. And as you stare at this explosion that's still somewhat ongoing, you see little specks of lights, blue, red, orange, green, almost like flakes in the air. They start to gently rain down on you. There's no way you could dodge the amount that are coming down on your skin, and they make contact with you, and you feel them burn and singe your skin just a little bit. And you look down at where these flakes have made contact, and as you look down, you see your veins faintly through your skin pulsing the color of whatever flake contacted them, and you feel it surge up your body. It's very intense, strange feeling. It doesn't necessarily hurt, but it feels intense. It's running throughout your body, and then these flakes all settle in the ground, sort of melting the snow where it touched as the explosion calms itself. What do?
I'll just kind of look at the back of my hand, twist my wrist, look at the front of my hand, just kind of flopping back and forth, observing my skin and my arms as that happens, and suddenly I'll kind of snap out of it. Oh no, Waltz. And I will look towards where Waltz was. You mentioned the roof had kind of caved in. What am I looking at? Is it all kind of flat now? Is there any semblance of a cave remaining?
It looks like a crater filled with rubble. So you're now at the same level as the top of this crater. So you're mostly just seeing rubble. And it looks like many rocks, boulders. If Waltz is in there, he's deep underneath.
Dax is sort of panicking a little bit. He's having sort of a flashback to Digsby in the rubble. The last time he was in a situation like this where everything crumbled around him, both literally and metaphorically, it obviously didn't end well. So if you're to see him, you'd see a panic kind of come over him, and he's going to start sprinting towards where Waltz was. Every once in a while, he'll stop and listen for movement from anything, whether that's the Drake or Scyndor or whatever. But I don't know, every 50 feet or so, he might stop and call out, "Waltz, can you hear me?" And just try to make his way to where he was.
Okay, Dax, you run up as you're calling out Waltz's name, trying to listen the best you can. It's almost surprising how calm it feels in this moment after what you just witnessed. And you're picking up boulders, throwing them to the side. Not so much thinking you could get to Waltz, but maybe there's a certain boulder you could move and then see him, or
Right.
create some sort of crevice maybe even you could crawl into, and you're just throwing whatever boulder is small enough for you to be able to heave over your shoulder, desperately digging for Waltz. And Waltz. The last thing you felt was a very familiar feeling. It was reminiscent of the vision you had when you were walking to Scalekeep. The one where you saw all sorts of possibilities with your fight against Scyndor. Specifically the one where it felt like the final moments of your own life and a moment in which you died protecting someone you cared about. And in a way, you have peace knowing that that was the last feeling you felt. And for a while, there is nothing. Until suddenly, you find yourself standing in a market in the Darren district of Billerod. You recognize it instantly. You know it well. You grew up here. This is where your father's butcher shop was. And as you survey this bustling market, vibrant with activity, happy, smiling faces, healthy-looking citizens walking throughout, you can tell this is a time before the plague, known as the Fade, the very plague that Scyndor revealed he created all those years ago, that caused so much turmoil to your family, claimed the life of your mother, took your father's leg, destroyed so many lives of the people you cared about. You wonder if this is Elysium, the place you go when you die, as seeing it fills your heart with happiness. And then something very strange happens. You see first yourself, but as you were as a 10-year-old. And then you realize standing next to you is your mother, Ella. She's holding her stomach, no doubt pregnant with your younger brother, Tomas. And instantly you can tell this is a time when your father, Marlowe, was off in the forest of Aragod fighting against Scyndor in his dark creations. And you remember this day. So, Taryn, are you ready to be 10-year-old Waltz for a second?
Yeah, let's do it.
10-year-old Eld Waltz?
Oh, man.
Let's do it. He sounds like this.
He sounds exactly the same. So, Eld, you look up to your mother. She is playfully tossing a pouch of coins up in the air. You know that you just received your father's wages that he sent back from the front line so that he could provide for the two of you. And she looks down at you and says, "Okay, Eld, now we have to be wise with this money. It's gotta last us a month, but we need to get some food today, okay? And I'm trusting you to pick that out for us. You think you can do that?"
Yeah, Mom, I could do that.
Yes, yes!
Oh, amazing. It is a baby Kronk.
She pauses for a moment and stops and puts her hand on your shoulder and looks very serious but playful. And she says, "Now, this is a big responsibility. And the reason I'm giving this to you is because someday you're going to have to make decisions. Some will be easy, like what are we going to have for dinner tonight? And some will be hard, like when to stand up against tyranny, like your father's doing. And anything in between. But today, you're very lucky because we're going to start small. So we have 10 copper here, and we need to feed ourselves for a month. I'm just going to have you pick out breakfast. Make sense?"
Yeah, I got it.
"Okay, Eld. Here you go." And she hands you the pouch.
All right, thanks, Mom. And I'll run off.
Wait, hold on. I'm going to go with you, okay?
Okay, that's fine. We got to find the eggs, though. Those were Dad's favorite. And if he gets back here pretty soon, I want to make sure he, has some.
She looks down and then looks at you and smiles. Something you didn't notice as a kid, but as you're observing this as an adult, you can tell that was her knowing that he wouldn't be back very soon and may not come back at all, but wanted to spare you of that thought. Okay, lead the way.
And I'll just start, maybe kind of jogging around, looking left and right, and being really excited. What do I see in this market?
Roll a perception check. 10-year-old memory Waltz perception check. It has a minus 20 status because you're just a stupid kid.
Oh, I got a nat 20, so 0.
Oh, wow. Cool. Nat 20? All right.
Yeah.
It's all eggs.
You perfectly remember the days where your father, Marlo, would take you to the market, and he was always eager to go get some eggs from Telenor. And you remember the routes and swiftly lead your mother to his kiosk.
Hey, Telenor, you got any eggs up there? And I'll just be like peeking over the counter, like I can't really see, you know?
He's rummaging on the shelves, and he chuckles, already knowing it's you, and he hears the voice, and he looks over his shoulder, and he goes, "Oh, hello, Eld. How are you doing today?"
I'm good. I'm here with my mom. You know, we're just getting some food for, breakfast.
Well, you came to the right place. Let's see here. A dozen? 2 dozen?
Oh, well, soon Dad will be back, and then my baby brother's going to be born, so we probably need as many as he got.
That is friggin' adorable. He looks at you and then looks to your mom, like, 3 dozen? And then she gives a playful, nod, like, yes. And he goes, all right, let's see here. And he turns around and he starts putting them in a crate. How do you like your eggs there, Eld? Over easy, scrambled?
Just however Mom makes them is always, it's pretty good. She's fantastic at making those things. Mom, how do you make those?
Scrambled. You won't touch anything else.
Oh, scrambled. What about you, Telenor? And I'll just kind of lean on the stand and be like, how do you like your eggs?
He chuckles. Well, that's very good of you to be appreciative of your mother. She works very hard. And she's looking after 2 of you now. Don't forget it, so don't be too much of a handful.
Oh, I know. Oh, and then Eld will whisper to his mom, I'm not too much of a handful, are I, Mom?
Of course not, sweetie. She tousles your hair.
I'll kind of relax a little bit, phew.
And as you're standing there making small talk with Telenor, adult waltz, you notice your mother backing away slightly. You've been following them as you observe this memory. And then she turns and she looks directly at you. And she says, so, I get to see my handsome son as a full-grown man after all. You look just like your father. And she smiles.
I'm gonna cry.
Oh, Waltz will be taken back, and he'll say, Mom, is this real?
Of course it is. I'm looking at you, aren't I?
But this doesn't make any sense. I should be dead. How am I here?
Well, it's a good question. Either you've fully mastered the Gameltor, or you've had some help getting here.
And, how are you here?
I'm living in this moment, Eld. This isn't a memory. This is a point in time, upon an ever-changing web of possibilities.
Oh?
Yeah, I'm also like that.
Take your time.
Mom, so much has happened. How much time do we have? I feel like I have so much to tell you.
There's nothing you can tell me I don't already know, Eld.
Eld, that's, it's been so long since I've heard that name, I feel. Feels good.
She's just looking at you with so much pride in her eyes as you're sitting there trying to piece this together. And she says, I'm proud of you, son. I can see in your eyes you have endured many trials, but I know you can bear this weight.
Gotta be honest, Mom. I don't think I want to bear any more trials. I think I just want to stay here.
You are not here because it's where you need to be, but because it's where you want to be. Caldora still needs you, my son.
I don't know if I can do much more for Caldora. Last thing I remember was a cave falling on top of me. Even if I do go back to my body, I don't think I have much time remaining. Can't we just go home? Can't we just go back to our place and catch up and wait for Dad?
I'm afraid not, Eld. You see, I too wield the Gameltor. Many in our family have. And I know what I must do, and I know what you must do. And neither of those paths involve catching up, I'm afraid.
None of this makes any sense. I should be dead, and what is this Gameltor that you speak of? Scyndor, this evil guy, he said the same thing. I don't really understand what it is.
The Gameltor is a strand of old magic, one that has endured since the time before time. It watches over us, observing our impending fates, and empowering its champions with the means of changing them for good. It has been dormant for some time, but something has changed and it has awakened. And through you, I see the Gameltor has called upon our family once again. But, Eld, I must warn you, the Gameltor is not the only force with such power. It's in constant conflict with its antithesis, the Eldar. If the Gameltor is stirring, then it is too. So be careful.
How do I decipher what it's telling me to do? How do I wield its powers? How do I know what I'm doing is the right path?
The Gameltor chose you because it entrusts you to make those decisions, Eld. Whether you're picking out food for the month or guiding the fates of Keldora, it trusts you. And as she says that, 10-year-old Eld walks up and says,
Are you a soldier? Yeah, I am. Do you know my dad? He's a soldier too. Did he come back with you? Shoot, I've been around a lot of soldiers. What's his name? His name is Dad. And he'll look at Mom.
It's Marlowe, sweetie.
Oh, Marlowe Waltz. Yeah, I know that guy. He's a fantastic guy. He's not back yet, but something tells me, it won't be too much longer. But, hey, listen, while he's away, make sure you take care of your mom here. Yeah, I know. Aunt Telenor said the same thing, and I know. I bet I have been.
This is incredible. All right, well, thank you for taking the time to speak with us, good sir. She looks at adult Waltz and tilts her head and just has so much love and pride in her eyes as she says that.
Yeah, better get going.
There's much you have to do. And she smiles and grabs the hand of little Eld and walks away. And Waltz, in that moment as she walks away, you start to see all of the people populating the market start to fade away one at a time, almost as if this entire memory has just crumbled to dust in front of you. And you're ripped from this moment as you feel this energy surging through you, engulfing you in a cocoon of power that you don't quite understand. Dax, as you dig through the rubble, you start to see glowing yellow lights piercing through the cracks. You start to feel it rumble underneath you. You start crawling away, climbing off the rocks, and you dive just as if lightning struck from the ground into the sky, tearing through a crack, throwing some of the rubble to the side, shooting into the air, and as it crackles into the sky, escaping into the clouds, you also see it throw to the side a figure that slides through some of the remaining snow, encompassed in this golden light, and you look upon it and see Waltz as the light begins to fade. And Waltz, you sit upright, gathering your senses, and see a very concerned Dax.
Oh my god, Waltz! Waltz, are you okay? And then I'll sprint off to where he is.
So Waltz, as you see Dax running towards you, it's almost not even something you're concerned about, as you realize there's an understanding implanted in your brain, and you don't know where it came from, but somehow you know that the ley line trapped within that Arcanor was made up of various strands of magic, and one of those strands was the Gameltor, and did not like what it was being used for, and it seemed to understand who you were, know that you played a part in freeing it, and made an effort to protect you in the explosion, drawing from this powerful but yet faint old magic that resided within that ley line, and has given you a second chance at life. And you also sense a faint trace of that power remaining within you, that same protective power that shielded you from the rubble and ripped you to safety. And as you feel that, you look up to the sky and see that strand of magic disappearing into the horizon, and look back to Dax.
Dax, where's Scyndor? Is he dead?
Oh my god, Waltz! Are you okay? Never mind, Scyndor. Are you alright? How'd you get out of there?
Dex, I don't know, but we don't have much time.
I haven't heard anything move, but I can't be sure. Are you okay?
Um,
Can I just do a visual inspection on him as I say that?
Yeah, you can roll a medicine
yeah,
check.
I guess I don't know if I'm okay.
19.
Dex, you're looking him up and down, and you're just shocked that he's even alert. It makes absolutely no sense.
Right.
Like, even just if he survived the blunt force somehow, he should have suffocated under there. You're in complete disbelief at what you're looking at, and just know that something profoundly magical happened. And it doesn't look like it healed him in any way, but he appears to be in the state as he was before the explosion.
I don't know how you got out of there, Waltz, but I got to get you fixed up at least somewhat. And I will do battle medicine on him just to try to stop some of the bleeding because he's pretty rough.
Okay, roll it up.
I'm going to use my hero point on that one.
Jeez.
Let's try that again. Ooh, much better. That is math is hard, 24.
Whew.
All right.
A hero point that works.
Success.
Interesting.
It does happen.
10 hit points.
All right, Waltz, as Dax is patching you up, you're still just sitting there. You almost don't even notice that he's doing that, and you're just thinking about everything that's happened. You're replaying the final moments before the ley line explosion. You're thinking of talking to your mother, like something you just never thought would ever happen again. It felt so real. And as he's doing that, you suddenly realize that that tower shield is still on your arm as you feel the weight of it, and you look down. You realize somehow in the explosion it got distorted and blasted more into the shape of a kite shield. And as you're looking at it, sort of confused, you see that it's burnt on the front from the magical explosion, and somehow in that process it melded the steel and the wood, even including the wood of Scyndor's spikes that he shot at you. And it's created this very perplexing concoction that has reinforced the shield, and there is a glowing rune etched into the shield. It faintly looks like a very simply drawn eye, but
Ooh.
and as you look at this shield, you can tell it is incredibly sturdy because you have just now received a sturdy shield minor. This shield has a hardness of 8, HP of 64, and a break threshold of 32.
Oh, dang.
Dope.
So as you're looking at this shield, you're feeling that energy the ley line seemed to give you from that strand of Gameltor magic, and you feel like you can channel it into this shield, reinforcing it even more.
Wow.
We're going to have to start calling you Abrams because you're a tank.
Look at that, guys. It only took 28 episodes for someone to get a magic item.
Yeah, and it's mine.
Only Taryn gets one.
Hey, Dax, do you want to see my new shield? I bet Ryu would love
Zach's
this.
playing favorites again.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna give Waltz all these things that would have like saved Rio, like a Featherfall spell scroll and like all these things.
Waltz will kind of come to and realize that if Scyndor is alive, that he's still not in very good shape, and he doesn't really know if they could beat him. He doesn't know if the Drake's alive, so he will just say, "Dex, we better use this chance to get out of here. We got to go find Ryu and Jules."
I'm with you. We got a bolt.
I will look for that horse, assuming it's stuck around for that massive explosion.
Can you roll me a perception check?
Yes. 22.
Right. Waltz, as you're surveying the scene, you can tell that the two horses ran away and
That makes sense.
escaped the lair as it exploded, and they're off in the distance, looking a little restless, but staring over towards you guys.
I will look around in the rubble briefly for any sign of Scyndor. And I guess if I don't see any movement, I'll just bust out of there with Dax.
You guys can both roll me a perception check.
25.
23.
So you both are sort of thinking the same thing as you look at the horses and then back at each other, and then both of you slowly look back to the rubble and just stare at it for a while, almost holding your breath, wanting nothing to distract you as you focus on this rubble. and you're hoping you hear nothing and you see nothing. And as you stare for a moment, you feel convinced that Scyndor, at the very least, remains beneath this rubble and nothing is stirring. You hear no sounds, and you know this is your best opportunity to leave. And you also feel you may have truly killed Scyndor.
Dax, if I made it out of this thing, and Scyndor's 100 times stronger than I am, there's no way he's dead. I don't know if we can kill him in this state.
A solemn look will come over Dax's face, realizing that you're probably right. We probably didn't kill him. We probably just bought ourselves some time. So we really got to get out of here. So Dax will just look to Waltz and give a quick nod. Yeah, let's get out of here. Where on earth do we go? Karos, maybe? I mean, the only way I know to get to Kuripan is gone now.
Maybe we go to Karos and ask for directions on how to get as far away from here as possible. I don't want anybody in Karos to get hurt.
I have to believe Ryu and Jules saw the explosion and know that things haven't gone quite to plan, so let's just hope they have a similar thought, meet us there. At least we have allies in Karos.
Yeah, that's a good point. And Waltz will maybe slowly back up away from the rubble, still keeping eyes on it, slowly turn his back pedal into a run and start sprinting out of there.
All right, as the two of you run towards the horse, you notice clouds looming overhead, possibly from just the drastic shift in climate, all of the evaporation from the snow melting, perhaps partly due to the magnificent magical explosion, and it begins to rain as you climb atop your horses, slap the reins, and make haste to Karos. Jules.
Oh, shoot.
Hey, were you ready?
I guess.
You awaken, gasping for air, instantly feeling a sharp pain in your ribs. As you do it, you notice the head of Smith resting on your legs as he lifts his head up, looking at you, nuzzling against your face, playfully bucking at you. He looks happy to see you awake. Can you roll me a perception check?
23.
Your heart is pounding. The last thing you remember was riding on the back of Smith with Desmar pursuing you. You have a vague memory of a tail whipping at you, and then nothing. And as you try and gather your senses, figure out where you are, you scan in front of you. You see that you're in a dark cave. As you look out to the mouth of this shallow cave, you can see that it's nighttime and raining heavily outside. And you begin to scan the cave some more and see a dim fire with dying embers, but still some heat, with a pot hanging over the fire, some sort of bubbling liquid within it that you can faintly hear. You look around and there seems to be a bandage wrapped around you. As you look to Smith, you see the same on his hip, and you see your gear resting in the corner and know that somebody is taking care of you.
Is it gonna be?
Is it Ryan?
I'll extend my hand forward and pat Smith on the head. I'll kind of wipe my eyes. How long was I out for you?
You see Smith dip his head down and slowly look up at you and gently nudge your face. And as you say that, you hear the words Ryu sort of faintly echo in the cave and then die, and no voice returns to you as you just hear the sound of rain outside.
Ryu?
Nothing.
I'll go to stand up but forget that I'm wounded and catch myself and wince. I'll slowly stand up and I'll limp to the mouth of the cave outside. Ryu!
Nothing. Can you roll me a perception check?
21?
As you're standing there, yelling out Ryu's name into the darkness, you feel like it's barely piercing through the sound of the rain. You can't see very far. It's a dark night. There's clouds in the sky, mostly blocking the moonlight. You feel very scared and alone and confused. You just would love nothing more than to see Ryu's angry face greet you. Probably say something about how weak you are for being injured, or how he defeated Desmar all by himself while you were unconscious. Something along those lines.
I'll turn to Smith and just look at him, just for some sort of sign, some pointing in a direction or something, some sort of answer.
Smith looks down at the ground and then just lays down and looks up at you.
Jules is starting to come to terms with what this means, and he starts to breathe heavy. His mind starts racing, and he clenches his fists, and without really knowing what to do, he just turns back around towards the outside of the cave, falls to his knees, slams his fists on the cave floor, and just screams.
Your screams echo into the cave and bounce back at you. You're feeling your own rage hitting you back in the chest as you look at your knuckles and see them bloodied from how hard you punched the ground. And then, amidst all this despair, a faint trace of hope fills you as you remember there is a pot boiling over the fire. You look at Smith and you know couldn't possibly boil anything in a pot. And then you start to hear footsteps coming behind you, and maybe some tears that were swelling in your eyes of rage. You subtly wipe them and look back over your shoulder out into the darkness, and you hear footsteps trudging through the mud and the rain, and you look and you see the silhouette of a figure coming towards the mouth of the cave.
I'll pick myself back up, not even caring about the pain I go through, to stand up, and I'll take a few steps forward and say, Ryu, is that you?
As you say that, the figure steps just close enough for the dim firelight to illuminate their face. You do not recognize this person, and quickly detecting shock in their eyes, you scan up and down and realize this is a Drake Knight, and the Drake Knight goes, oh wait, he's right. And right as he says that, lightning crackles in the distance and disappears, and you realize this Drake Knight is no longer speaking, and he looks down at his chest, and there's a hole with blood pouring out of it. He falls to his knees, face plants on the ground, and behind him you see the vague silhouette of some pointy cat ears, and hear,
Jules, you're finally up, huh?
No way. No way.
Jules' eyes go as wide as they possibly can, and he shoves his knuckles and rubs his eyes. Tough? Is that you?
I spin my gun around and put it back in its ribcage holster. Yeah, been a while, hasn't it?
Tough? How?
Oh, it's a smaller universe than you think. Caldora, not a big place.
I'll just go up to him and kind of fall into his arms, just
Yeah.
squeeze him.
And don't forget, the last time you saw Tough, which I'm sure you know, but if our audience already forgot, was in your little ship being run down by Captain Perry, and he got blasted by a cannonball, and Captain Perry even threw one of his arms at you. So you definitely thought him to be dead.
Yeah. After I embrace him, I'll pull myself away and just kind of look him over. Tough, how are you alive right now? Last I saw you was your arm. You went down with the ship.
Oh, yeah, that's a bit of a long story. And then you see Tough turn over and bend down and use both arms to pick up a bucket. And you'll notice that one of those arms is a silver arm, distinct from the rest of his black metal body. And he'll pick up this bucket and say, I figured you might need this. And I throw some water on him.
Awesome. Splash you with water. Snap out of it, Jules.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
That's 3 buckets worth so far. I don't know exactly how much you need.
He's just been going out getting buckets and splashing it on you while you're sleeping.
Well, it's already raining, so you could have just gone
While I'm
outside.
standing in the rain. It's plenty for now. Tough, I have so many questions. I've been through so much.
Yeah, I'm curious what you're doing here of all places.
I could say the same to you.
Yeah, well, I can let you in on it a little bit, I guess. Basically here on a job. In fact, now that I found you, maybe you can help me out a bit.
Possibly. I was
A little busy.
in the middle of something myself. Listen, you haven't seen a pointy-eared, tall, grumpy, white-haired man, have you?
If you're talking about that thing in the sky, yeah, saw him a while ago, but not since then.
You saw him in the sky?
Yeah, a friend of yours? Didn't seem very smart.
Something so meta about Ryan's new character bashing his old character's decisions.
Yes, he was a dear friend. Do you know what happened to him?
Let's see. Well, I heard a roar, so I looked up. By that time, you were floating around, presumably unconscious, because I don't know why somebody would choose to do a million 360s with their arms flailing around. Then I saw the pointy-eared fella decide to, rather than stay on your hippogriff friend here, leap towards a drake in the sky. After that, there was a little bit of back and forth, some more flailing, some more screaming, some more roaring. In the end, seems like that pointy-eared guy was really bent on taking out that drake. And I saw giant explosion, no more drake, no more pointy-eared guy, and then you and the hippogriff here kept sailing. So I followed that trail, eventually found you guys around here, took you into this cave.
Despite the very chopped up and humorous rundown of events, Jules' eyes well up with tears, just hearing the confirmation that he lost Ryu, and he'll say, "I'm sorry, Tough. I just need a moment."
All right. And I'll slowly put a hand out and pat him on the shoulder. I mean, come on, buddy. You know guys in our line of work don't last long.
Yes, I know that well. Thank you for everything you've done. I can honestly say it's amazing to see you.
Yeah, sure. So anyway, you want some of this? And I'll start making my way over towards the boiling pot of red goo, and I'll pull out a mug and pour some of it and put it towards Jules' face. Smells like death, but it can help ward it off.
Nice.
Yes, I'll thank you. I'll just be a moment.
You might want these too. And I hand him a clothespin, and I'll gesture towards my nose. I wasn't kidding about the smell.
Thank you.
So yeah, anyway, about our line of work. Reason I'm here is because I found a job, and the pay is the pay's all right. But if you want to help me with it, I can give you some of it.
I love this character already.
I imagine you're kind of like filling up the little bowl or whatever, but Jules just walked out into the rain.
Jules, hey. I'll look towards the hippogriff and like shrug at him, like, what the heck?
He just looks at the goo and is sniffing.
Don't touch that.
It retracts a little bit. Looks at you. Snorts.
I'll jog out to Jules. Hey, what are you thinking, man?
Jules, as you're standing out there, you realize there's a few dead Drake Knights.
I'll take note, but honestly not too surprised. I know my buddy Tough, and he's tough enough.
Nice.
So Tough. You and I have both seen our fair share of loss.
Sure.
You haven't met my crew that I've been running with since we last saw each other.
No.
Something's different. I feel connected to them in a way. I guess I never stopped to think what might happen if we lost one of us.
I'll look down to a separate mug of a different concoction that I brewed, swirled around in my hands a bit. Well, how do you feel?
Lost. Angry. Determined. And I'll look up, out at Nisarene. Just a look of intense sadness. I guess, yeah, just like I said, sadness, anger, and determination kind of accumulating all at once. Jules is just ready to end this. He'll stand up and look to Tough and give him a little head nod, a little pat on the shoulder. All right, let's get this over with. And he'll take the pin and put it on his nose.
All right. Chug it, man.
Look.
You have received 2d8 plus 5 hit points, so roll it up, my man.
Duty.
God,
He's
it's
back.
so good to hear that. You could, if you don't have your D8s, you could just use some D12s, probably, right, Zach?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's fair. 15.
There you go.
I pat Jules on the back. Strong stuff, isn't it?
Indeed it is, but very invigorating for sure.
Tuff will take a sip of his drink, too. Yeah, so anyway, the job I got. You want to hear about it?
Yes, tell me of this job.
So this foundation, this organization that hired me, they're interested in an artifact of sorts, and I was sent here to retrieve it. I don't suppose you've heard of anything called an Arcanor out here?
Oh no.
Classic.
Oh no.
Jules chuckles and looks down, and he looks back up. Yeah, I've heard of it.
Seriously? Great. This will be easier than I thought.
That's convenient.
What else do you know?
Well, I know that it's called an Arcanor. I know who might have it. That's about it so far.
What intel do you have of who has this Arcanor?
Yeah, well, this organization told me that a monkey fella named Dunadast would have it. I don't suppose he's on this island, is he?
Technically.
He is, but he doesn't have it. He did once, a long time ago. Now it belongs to a druid called Scyndor.
Scyndor, huh?
He's the one I'm after.
Are you talking about the Scyndor?
You've heard of him?
Well, if it's the Scyndor who's doing all that stuff on Mortifar, I don't know how I couldn't have heard of him.
Mortifar? Is that where you've been?
Oh yeah, I've been all over the place. You know, job here, job there. Mortifar, though. Scary place when Scyndor is around.
Goodness, we do have a lot to catch up on.
So you're telling me we gotta go through Scyndor to get this Arcanor?
Yes, though I don't much care about the Arcanor. That's just a means to get to him, as far as I'm concerned.
Tuff shakes his head, takes another sip of his drink. This just got a lot more complicated.
I'll tell you what. You help me get to Scyndor. You can have the Arcanor.
You got yourself a deal, and I stick my paw out.
Paw.
Is that a good... Maybe I shouldn't have done.
Too late, no takesies backsies.
I'll hesitate for a moment, but I'll shake his hand. Tuff, do you know what this Arcanor is?
Nope, but I imagine it's something pretty important.
Whoever wants this thing, the Arcanor holds great power. I hope this ends up in the right hands. I'll kind of give you a look you've seen 100 times before, like, buddy,
Yeah.
come on.
I raise an eyebrow at Jules. Yeah, of course, that's no problem. I take another sip of my drink.
What are you drinking?
Oh, you don't recognize it? Can't you smell it? It's coffee.
Is there more?
Here, why don't you finish this one off?
I'll grab it. Thank you. I'll go to drink it, but I'll stop myself and just have a memory of Ryu. And then take a sip and just take in the comfort that comes with that memory and finish the coffee off.
I'll clap my paws like I'm dusting them off, and I'll start walking towards the hippogriff. Your hippogriff buddy seems like a good guy. What's his name anyway? And I'll give him a pat.
This is Smith.
Smith?
Yes.
Hippie would have been better.
Yes.
Well,
Isn't that the blooper from that episode? Is Ryan roasting me for hippie?
Yeah.
Suck, Ryan. I'm gonna kill your new character.
well, it's Smith. Can I tell if Smith feels comfortable around him, or
Yeah,
do I
you
need to
just
make
right
that
when you
person-
look at Smith, you can tell he really, really likes Tuff because he saved him and he took care of you.
Yeah. Well, he certainly seems to like you. I can't say Smith is one to trust others too quickly.
Yeah, something about animals, man. We get each other, you know?
Fair enough.
Anyway, so if you're gonna help me out with this mission, we can't leave you as you are. I'm no doctor, and that tells me two things. One, I don't know how badly injured you actually are. And two, whatever patching up I did definitely didn't do jack. So this organization that hired me, they're dropping off a care package. We should go check it out for some supplies before we head out.
Where is this supply drop-off?
Tuff looks at his forearm and kind of shakes it, and a panel slides out from like a metal box compartment type thing, and you can see he's got some notes written in there. And he says, let's see, they gave me some coordinates, some landmarks of sorts. It mentions a tree or two. I'll get us there.
Tough, I mean this when I say this. I don't have any more time to waste. the rest of my group. I don't even know how long it's been, but I can't imagine they can wait any longer. I have to get to them as soon as I can. So Jules will stand up. I'll go over to grab my things. I'll take one final look out at the cave and say, Tough, do you remember the song we sing for those we've lost?
Yeah, what'd you call it? Horizon Sun?
That's the one. If you don't mind, I'd like to sing it now for Ryu.
Sure, go for it, but I'm gonna have another cup of coffee in the meantime.
That's fine. And then I'll go, I guess, just stand at the mouth of the cave, and I'll sing this song.
It is time to sail away, my boy, heading for the rising sun. There is one whose voice no longer joins. There is one that sails beyond. There is one whose voice no longer joins, heading for horizon sun. Yet that ghost remains to guide our way till the day our time has come. To the ones whose days yet not be done, heading for horizon sun, may not become forgotten souls when you reach what lays beyond. To the ones we've lost along the way, heading for horizon sun, be it winter's cold or summer's day, we shall meet in the beyond.
Some fluid will leak from Tough's eye as he looks down into his coffee mug, gives it a swirl, chugs the last bit, picks his head up and makes his way over towards Smith, and climbs up onto his back, pulling at feathers as he goes, and reach my hand out to Jules and say, "Get on, bitch, we're going shopping."
And that is where we'll end our session.
I guess
Oh
who's
man,
back,
Adam
back.
and
Let's
Ryan
go.
got to
Emotions.
play. We got people role-playing 10-year-old them, talking to adult them. We got beautiful songs. Wow, guys, we're peaking.
That could be
right
my
now,
favorite
I'd say.
RP episode
Hold on,
so
hold on,
far.
hold on.
Holy
We'll talk.
cannoli.
Wait, hold on. I'm getting the sense that you guys are trying to talk about this right now, and it's like really.
Well,
yeah,
and it's making me want to say,
Yeah, that was
shut
crazy.
up, because we'll talk about that in the downtime, which is for patrons, where we react to the most recent episode. We'll talk about, Ryan's new character and how fun that was, and just Adam's amazing song and all that stuff. So yeah. If you want to check that out, become a patron. We got all sorts of stuff: Metacast, Discord, Adam's amazing session sketches. Yeah, guys, if you don't know by now, we all contribute a lot to the show. Adam does his awesome art, Joel does his vocal editing, Taryn does the sound effects, and Ryan does that incredible music. And I know we say that like in every episode forever and ever and ever. And you know what? I think you guys get it by now. So I'm going to breeze through those from now on. Unless I don't feel like it. I don't know. We're just going to go with it each time. So yeah, thanks guys for all your
Already,
awesome
like, going on
contributions.
forever.
I'm already over it. Maybe in the next episode I'll do the long ones. And I'm spending more time talking about how I'm not going to talk about it forever. So you know what? Whatever, dude. I don't know. I don't care. Anyways, thank you guys for joining us, and we will see. Oh wait, check us out on Reddit, Instagram, Patreon, and we'll see you next time, mortals. You look just like your father. And she smiles.
Waltz will be taken back and he'll say,
What the You could see me? Holy